It's horse racing season, folks. If Kentucky is famous for one thing, it's horses and horse racing. This year is shaping up to be a very popular derby due to a certain game that came out last year. Now, some of y'all may have heard of this game called Umamusume Pretty Derby. Hold on, stop. Before y'all click off the video, just watch as I connect this specific game to a Kentucky tradition. Now, in this horse racing anime girl game, a lot of the characters in this game can trace their roots back to one horse, that being the legendary Sunday Silence. This Kentucky thoroughbred was born in the quiet town of Paris in 1986 and went on to win the Kentucky Derby in 1989. With the Derby comes traditions, such as the Kentucky Derby train. For every Kentucky rail fan, this is like the Super Bowl. You cannot call yourself a proper bluegrass rail fan if you haven't chased or even seen it. CSX, RJ Corman, and, not anymore, but Norfolk Southern all run the Derby train on the day of the Kentucky Derby. But how did this legendary high-class train come to be?
It all started in post-Civil War Kentucky. As Kentuckians were rebuilding, they started to bring the sport of horse racing to the bluegrass, and held the first inaugural Kentucky Derby in 1875. The Louisville and Nashville Railroad was the fastest and most elegant way to travel, and so the railroad set out a 440, a few coaches to pick up Preston H. Leslie, the then governor of Kentucky at the time, and took him and an entourage of businessmen and their families, as well as the owner of the L&N, Mr. H.D. Newcomb, to the station near Churchill Downs. Every year, this would continue, with the Southern Railway joining the Louisville and Nashville and running Derby trains sometimes in the 20th century.
Locomotives pulling the Derby train would consist of usually polished up steamers, and into the later era of the steam years, the L&N's mighty Big Emmas and the flashy Streamline 295 would pull the train. In 1956, the final steam run of the Derby train was pulled by a Big Emma. From then on, the L&N's beautiful Streamline diesels would do the job. After the L&N folded into the family lines and eventually the Seaport system, the Derby train would still be pulled. In the 1980s, the Governor train was chartered by the state of Kentucky, and the Seaboard System Railroad would take a train from Frankfort, Kentucky's capital, to Louisville, which is now the route the modern CSX train takes. In 1987, the Southern Railway would stop running the Derby train as now Norfolk Southern left the duties to CSX. Through the late 80s and into the 90s, CSX transportation would begin taking the train, with RJ Corman joining in a few decades later. Nowadays, CSX runs its beautiful fleet of F40s in an amazing consist of passenger cars to the Kentucky Derby, starting from Waycross, Atlanta, Knoxville, Corbin, and then taking a turn at Winchester, known here as the Old Road, which is now owned by RJ Corman. They stop in Lexington for a few days to get ready for the Derby, and then at 9 a.m. on Derby Day, leave for Frankfort to pick up the Governor, then finish the trip to Louisville. The Derby train is something to be cherished and enjoyed by every rail fan, but as a Kentucky rail fan, it's not only just about the beautiful train, it's also about meeting your fellow Kentucky rail fans and celebrating the history of the Louisville and Nashville and this beautiful state. In the words of Daniel Boone, heaven must be a Kentucky kind of place. Thanks for watching.